All right, so this one is difficult for me. I don't know. We'll see. You?
I'm good.
You're
got
good.
the last bit of that piece of I got the last piece of that candy down. That was my only challenge for the episode.
Yeah, so it's summer or close to it at this point, and Batavia she's eating candy canes, dude. Love the game.
Yeah, man.
She's all about Christmas.
They're so stale as well, but they're the rainbow kind, and these are it's like a real piece of candy, really
Right.
sweet. And I can't throw it away because I bought it. So.
Yeah, it's delicious. So everybody, check it out. Patreon, link below if you'd like to support the show and get 2 extra episodes a month. And also, Backyard Kitchen Season 1 is live on Tubi, and we have a couple other networks coming up soon, so we'll keep you up to date on those. Because I know that you guys love it so much that you want to watch on every single platform that it comes out on. I mean, I'm the same way, so, it's all good. And the bell with authority. We might have to put that one in the Leonard's hands if it keeps up like that.
Yeah, that's problematic. But go on. I'll
good.
figure this thing out.
So this one came, this is a listener question that came off of email. So it came through backyardgardenstv.com. And if you'd like, there's 2 ways. You can do backyardgardenstv.com or become a patron and send the questions in, and we'll use them because these are actually very helpful. And this one, as difficult as it is, I think it is going to be very helpful. So without further ado, my man Brad T says, get ready, this is a long question. Do y'all use any microbe products or do you just rely on compost? So...
Is there more?
Nope, that was it.
Okay.
I was joking when I said it was really long. I like it. It's straight to the point. That's what I'm talking about.
I figured that out, yeah.
So I have to admit, when I read it, I was like, what's he talking about microbes? Right? Mm-hmm. Did you know?
Is he talking about adding rock salt and it's not really rock salt and stuff like that?
No. So I did a Googling and I came up with a company of some sort, but they had a pretty good breakdown. I'm not going to give them a shout out because I don't know anything about them. But I'm just going to read you a little bit about what they say. And so obviously you know that we don't use microbes. I mean, it's
spoiler.
It's obvious right now.
I'm sitting back and I'm waiting on you to read this so I can say, yeah, I do that.
Yeah, well, there could be that too. So it goes, how much fertilizer actually goes to the plant? And then they say, did you know that only 40 to 60% of fertilizer we apply actually goes to the plant? The remaining is lost to runoff into our waterways. Interesting. So right off the bat, I'm like, okay, that could be some mumbo jumbo, buyer product type stuff. I'm cool with it. I would have to verify that research.
So I think in general, the concept, you do lose something because of those, runoff but yeah, I'm never signing on to 40%. Go on.
So, but then that still leaves me with the question is, what is a soil microbe? So they say, what are the different microbes? There are 5 different types of soil microbes. Bacteria, acetinomyces, fungi, protozoa, and nematodes. Yeah, I struggled hard through that one, so y'all got my back, though. And each of these have different types, and there are different jobs to boost soil health in plants. So...
So is this something that's packaged and sold?
Yeah.
Or
it looked like it was. I saw some on Amazon and stuff like that briefly. So the bacteria is a crucial workforce of soils. They are the final stage of breaking down nutrients and releasing them into the root zone for the plant. And so the Food and Agricultural Organization said bacteria may well be the most valuable of life forms in the soil. So I'm imagining that you're adding bacteria in this concoction that they sell. And so the one that I struggled with, that I'm not going to try again because it's kind of embarrassing, they were once classified as fungi and then act similarly in the soil. However, some of this aceta whatever are predators and will harm the plant, while others living in the soil can act as antibiotics for the plant. So it's interesting as we go through and you're starting to see how these different things affect a plant. And so fungi, It's like bacteria. It also lives in the root zone and makes plants, the nutrients available for plants. So this will be your mycorrhizae. Okay, it's directly referring to mycorrhizae. Yeah, so it's the fungi that facilitate water and nutrient uptake in the roots and provide sugars, amino acids, and other nutrients. I'm going to give you my breakdown now that I'm reading this. I'm going to give you my breakdown. Protozoa are larger microbes that love to consume and be surrounded by bacteria. And in fact, nutrients that are eaten by bacteria are released when protozoa in turn eat the bacteria. And then nematodes are microscopic worms that live around and outside the plant. Some are predators and others are beneficial while eating pathogenic nematodes and secreting nutrients to the plant. So there you go. That's your 5 different types of it.
3 mouthfuls or 5. Okay.
It is. It's very technical, but as I'm reading through it, I think that we use soil microbes without buying the product.
I vote yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think... Go on.
Well, compost has a lot of this stuff already built into it. You know what I mean? And I know that, like, that's like the whole benefit of, like, rotting the food and breaking it down and doing all this stuff. Even if you buy it in a bag, I think you're still getting the benefit of it. You were going to say something and I so rudely cut you off.
Now, there's some internet connectivity issues, so apologies for those that see me nodding and Ben isn't even talking. I'm just kind of like going along. So I actually was thinking about not this question, but how stubborn I may be being, right? So I can't think of the term that I want to give it, but I really want to limit things that I am using to amend my garden, right? And I've talked about this over the years. You and I have talked about the importance of amending our gardens. You know, we're taking things out as we grow every year. At some point, that well is going to run dry, so you have to give back to it. And so I still believe in that general concept. But when it comes to, you know, the steps that we take, I planted today. Again, I'm still going with the couple of handfuls of compost and rocking and rolling, like putting something in the beds. Then I was thinking to myself 2 things. One, as I look at soil prices, like to purchase soil and how much they've increased, right? The compost that I purchased, and I'm not going to go back down that trap, but the compost that I purchased has been steady. The pricing has been steady over the last 5 years. But there could come a time. And so I was saying to myself, I've created this monster, if you will, where my garden is now, you know, I'm adding this compost to it every year, maybe even a couple of times a year, depending on what I'm growing. And what happens if it's really not reasonable for me to purchase this anymore, or if it's not as available? And so when I think about things like microbes, pulling it back around, I mean, I almost have to be proven wrong. You have to prove to me that this is necessary as a separate purchase, as a separate method of amending. And that's why I still do balance. Like, am I just being really, really stubborn? Because there clearly is science to gardening, to growing things, right?
For sure.
And am I trying to ignore that, you know, by saying, nope, I'm just going to put some stuff in soil and let it be,
well,
you know?
There's a whole lot here.
I know.
There's a whole lot here.
You're the one that decided that we're going to try to do this in 20 minutes.
I did. And I'm going to say this, like my man I think he uses microbes, and that's cool. Like, I respect it. But, you know, I've used nematodes in the past. I actually used nematodes last year to kill subterranean termites. So I've done that.
Were those near tomatoes last year?
I don't remember where they were now.
Okay,
you could go back into an episode and find it. Not you, but somebody could if they really wanted to. It was around this time last year, if that helps. But like the mycorrhizae, so anybody can use that. You don't have to buy that. You can make that for free. Mm-hmm. And all you have to do is you can put like a stack of newspapers on the ground. You can put cardboard on the ground, a bale of hay. You can just, if you move your mulch to the side and all that white stuff that forms in the beds, that's all mycorrhizae. So you have all that stuff available to you. So there's a number of these things, and I don't know about, you know, protozoas and stuff like that, how much is in my soil. I'm going to assume, since I'm composting and using compost, that we do have all of that stuff active in there. And the one benefit I see that overarches everything, and you kind of you alluded to it in your statement earlier, was if you are using your soil all the time and the prices of soil is going up, when you're using compost, you're making soil at the same time versus adding a liquid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or when you're using wood chips, haha. Look at how much soil that I, and I have a bucket of soil, but I feel like I need to go to the spot in the back of my house and scoop back up because I'm running out of space for it. And then I thought to myself, at some point I need to find a corner and put it in a corner because at some point I could use this to make potting soil for containers. Like there's a purpose for it, right? So I am absolutely going to go back and scoop it up. I have a garbage can, like a little 13-gallon garbage can that has soil in it. And if I had the strength that day, I would have pulled it around and kind of just laid it out as well. But I'm not going to do that. I said all that to say, as I think about this question, as I think about what we've talked about for composting, as I think about prices, like with all of that intertwined, as I think about being sustainable, like we really got to find ways to use what we already have. My only caveat when it comes to something like a packaged product, and he may not be, is it Brian? He said? Brad may not be using a packaged product. And if he is, God bless his ministry. Like it's fine. But I guess what I'm saying is we need to be conscious of the things that we're purchasing and potentially prepared for making other choices, right? So we were talking about in the composting episode for sustainability, I was thinking back to a video that I did very early in the spring when the raccoons attacked. And I was over by the cage baby. And I was like, I think I said it on camera. I'm trying to figure out where this steam is coming from. And it didn't occur to me until like days and days and days later. Everything was piled up in the cage baby, including like bags and bags of leaves. So as I was taking some leaves out, as I was mulching my bed, I looked and I could see the steam coming out of the bag, because the weather's gotten hot and cold. It's wet in there. And I'm just like, aha, there it is. Right. So compost. back to some of your points on the things that we have in our garden space, right? If applied correctly, and this is the biggest asterisk of them all, I don't want to add anything to my garden that I don't believe will benefit it. And then there's always a question mark of how much do I really need to be adding to benefit it? Because otherwise, am I just sprinkling stuff down? Again, does it make me just feel warm and fuzzy? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's, excuse me, over time, you get all these things. You're mulching, you're composting, you're adding handfuls of compost in, you're putting wood chips in, you're putting organic fertilizers in if you choose to do so. You're leaving roots in the ground and leaves that fall, and all this stuff turns back into what we know and love as dirt and soil. So, to just depend on a product is, just to let's say you didn't want to do anything, you didn't ever want to add soil to your garden or nothing, and you just wanted to add fertilizer. It's not going to benefit you in the long run. You know what I mean? It's just a piece of the puzzle. So all of these different pieces come in, you know what I mean? And you can add microbes and you can add fertilizers and stuff. For instance, I'm not using Neptune's Harvest anymore. I stopped using the product, and it's because it doesn't add anything to my soil. It boosts my growth, but it doesn't add anything to it. And in the world of cutbacks and all that stuff, I had to cut back what I was spending. And that was a big part of it. They've been a sponsor of the show in the past. I know and love their product. And if you want to talk about a sustainability piece, they are towards the top of sustainability on what they're doing and where they source all their stuff from. But for me, it didn't benefit me in the long run because I need to look out long distance.
Yeah, so I am still using, because I still have the product on hand, and I don't necessarily have any intention on not. It is the easiest for that product, the easiest way for me to feel like I'm adding some bit of fertilizer without it being so taxing on me. So it kind of speaks to my style of gardening as well. I mean, the reality is it's a liquid fertilizer, and so that's helpful, which I didn't have to mix it, but that's another conversation. I think that the part about over time is significant. And as we think about the steps that we take, what we do in our garden, the question becomes how much of it is just a natural occurrence and how much of it is because we want to put the fast forward button. Not the easy button, but the fast forward button, right? We're talking about giving things a boost, right? We're talking about, oh, well, this is missing from, this planting bed and I want to add it to it. Is there a longer path? And I'm just asking the question, as you hear nowadays. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. But it's are we getting in our own way? And in turn, are we now requiring more because we want more sooner? Remember, it was a listener question in 2022, and it was about, I think she had like a 20-foot long bed. It was a really big bed, not the most recent one we did about filling a garden bed. But the question became, she was producing tomatoes for like 8 people in her family, right? And we talked about, well, what you could do, on a longer path, and it would take a number of seasons to produce this soil, or another path, which is faster. And we always want to give both options if we can. But if you think about, again, the longer game, how much of what you're doing today is just feeding the need for today?
Yeah.
And read today as this garden season versus are we taking steps and doing things that will continue to feed our garden and us season over season.
Well, I just put that video.
There's too much there to continue to chop up here.
I just put that reel or short or whatever up about my mulch, how it starts this year, and then the plan is to come back and be like, this is how much is left. Just so you can see, because I was shocked how much you add to it each year. Yeah. Like, it's amazing. And we live in a world, look, we run out of time and I got something I got to say. We live in a world where everything is right now. I can only watch 5 seconds of your video. I got to move on. Oh, you didn't call me. I'm going to text you 5 times. Oh, I got to go out there and get it. Oh, the Amazon delivery is not coming in 2 days. I'm pissed. Blah, 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 blah. There's all these different things as go, go, go. And that's why gardening itself is so insane in 2022 because there's nothing happens fast. Absolutely nothing. And if you want it to happen fast, you're setting yourself up for failure because you can get a quick fix, but it's just like any other drug. It's just going to crash hard and you're going to burn and you're going to be like, damn, now I got to go do it all. And you're going to be chasing your tail all the time. So the trick is, this is why we give the good answer, the short-term fix and the long-term fix, because we know that and we're the same. We want the short-term fix, but I know that in the long term, you're going to be a lot happier moving forward, going throughout the years, not having to do that short-term fix all the time or using it less and less to get the results that you want, need, and deserve.
Yeah. The only thing I was going to add was, the things that you don't want to happen are the things that oftentimes happen fast,
Yeah.
Like weeding, you look up and it's like, where do these weeds come from? Like those are the things that happen fast, but the things that we want and we want to plan for doesn't always happen that way. I was just talking about this yesterday, I think day before yesterday. If nothing else, if there's a single thing that gardening does, it is teach you patience.
Yeah.
And sometimes it has to hit you over the head over and over again. So.
Yeah. So, look, before we close, what do you think about the microbe thing? I mean, we obviously don't purchase it. Mm-hmm. I think we both feel like we use it in a roundabout way. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's correct, yeah.
So
I'd be interested in what drove Brad to begin to, apply that to his garden. And then what has he found, right? Like, does he feel like there was something missing if that's what led him there? And, now what? Now what's happening? Because it's really hard to let something go, especially if you can't definitively say this improved it or not.
Yeah.
So are you now going along with this practice year after year? And the question becomes, is it necessary? I mean, to be quite frank, I don't think it hurts, but I don't know for sure if I needed to, when I put my peppers out, if I needed to put 2 handfuls of compost. Maybe I didn't.
No, you do. Because you need to be replenishing your soil. I just stand very firm on that. It's such an easy task, but I get what you're saying.
I think, we're right at time, but I think the idea of replenishing your soil, we still don't have a real barometer on over what course of time? Like I said it at the top, where I'm taking out of this soil, I'm taking from it. Is it every season, every 3 years? I don't know. But you're right, it is an easy enough task.
Yeah. So do you think microbes are a good thing?
I'm undecided. I don't know enough about it, to be quite frank.
That's
but
how
you chose one of the hard questions, though. You know.
I did. I chose it because I look at it. I'm like, man, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, you know what? Today's the day, because I'm curious about it. I can't say one way or another if it's good or bad, or if I support it or don't support it. I think it is what it is. But what I would be curious to know is if you guys, hit us up on the old IG and tell us what you guys think about it. If you use it, you know what I mean? And the real question is, since you don't really know what it is and you can't see what it is it making a difference, or are you just buying it because you think you should be buying it and putting it in? Same with fertilizers. You guys let us know, because I'm curious what everybody thinks about that,
Sounds like a poll.
Holla. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're still thanking?
I'm thanking. And I'm telling people to go watch Backyard Kitchen Season 1, available on Tubi and other platforms. Now do it.
See ya.